Alright, gang, welcome back to our Can You Survive 25 challenge here on Zielonka. It is still March. Rain is still in the forecast, as with the last episode. Been a couple days. Went back to 1 day a week here for this week specifically. Probably back to 2 again next week, I would think. But yeah, we're doing good, man. We made tons of money in the last episode. In case you missed it, we got $789,000 in the bank now, which is a great amount to have. One of the main reasons why I'm saying that's a great amount to have is because whenever we do take a bit of a brief pause or hiatus on this series, as I've mentioned a number of times, you know, I wanted to have enough money to start another farm. And there's been a lot of ideas that you've thrown out in the comments for me, and I really, truly appreciate each and every single one of them. There's a lot of really good ideas. I think I'm leaning more towards a sugar type of farm. Now, more specifically, not just set in stone to just sugar itself. We're going to kind of branch out a little bit and use byproducts of sugar as well. So, you know, syrup or whatever, make pancakes, whatever ends up whatever it ends up that we decide to do with it, we're going to be making lots of different types of products with it. But it's in the heart of it, it's going to be a base sugar farm. I think that's the way we're going to go it. It's just, I don't really do sugar beets or sugar cane or anything like that very often at all. So for me personally, I just think overall it's a nice choice for us to do that, to incorporate something that we don't normally do all that often on the channel. So we're going to go that approach and kind of go from there. Now, what I mean by, you know, other byproducts, we're going to have some animals, like probably have some cows, things like that, right? We're going to have to start incorporating some other things that are not specifically only sugar, so we can actually, you know, kind of accomplish what I'm hoping for and what I'm striving for here. But a lot of you had really good ideas in regard to the sugar and some things we could do and make with that. So I do greatly appreciate all that input, and I will try to take it into account and incorporate it whenever I can. I certainly won't be able to do everything, but I will try to incorporate as much as I can. So thank you to those of you who did provide that input. I do appreciate it. Anyway, how's everyone doing today? Hope you're doing well. Things are good, man. We're getting the sunflowers in the ground here. We've just finished up the big field over there in the last episode where we kind of left off. We had a worker doing that for us. We're going to start drilling the rest of these fields. So we've got to get field 91, 92, 78 and 70 all done today. Now, not only do we need to drill these fields, we also, well, I guess they don't all have to be in March, but you get what I mean. Not only do we have to drill these fields, we also have got to put some fertilizer down and get them in a, you know, in a good state, if you will, right? So lots and lots to do today. And like I said, we probably are going to get, I think, 91, 92 done today. So that way we have 52, 91, 92, and I think 58 that we did here in March. And then I guess we're just going to keep going straight. And then I'm going to leave the remainder, which is really only 78 and 70 for the next month. You can drill sunflowers in April as well. So we're going to kind of want to stagger those a little bit. Now, with this money that we have, we're going to buy some more fields today. Those fields are probably not going to be utilized today. As I mentioned, we're probably going to save those kind of for the next month to add another piece to the puzzle here for our sunflower farm. Or, well, our oil farm, I guess I should say, right? But in this instance, more sunflower fields. Now, ones I'm thinking about buying here, this one, not this one. We don't have enough money for it anyway, first of all. You know, it would be nice to have a bigger one because I've talked about, and I've kind of teased it enough, I feel like, at this point, that I want to start incorporating some crude oil, right? To do that, we need more land. We really do. We need more land. So, you know, maybe a field like this or even a field like 51, right, where it's got some other land here to the side that doesn't really have anything on it, that might be a good opportunity for us to be able to start incorporate some of that crude oil, right? We will see. Right? No guarantee that it'll be anytime soon, but it depends on what field we buy. If the field we buy has room to incorporate the crude oil, then we'll start doing crude oil soon as well. Now, having said all the things I just said, right, we're wanting to start Farm 3 when we, you know, pick this series back up, which will be, you know, whenever we do take the pause here, probably in a couple of weeks. It'll be a couple months, right? We'll be back into it again probably somewhere in September period, maybe even October, who knows. But somewhere in that range, right, we'll come back to the series. There's not going to be a reboot or anything like that. It's going to be exactly how we left it. And at that point, I would like to start Farm 3. Now, it doesn't have to mean that the Farm 3 has to be gigantic. I mean, it could really be just one field and one small little tiny operation with some small equipment. But you know, that's kind of what I want, right? Now, the crude oil production that I'm just talking about right now, it's not a cheap thing to do, right? We have $789,000, which is great. We're going to continue to make more money as well as we move along here because we've got a lot of stuff, right? We've got a lot of stuff going on now. We're going to have a lot of oils that we're going to be able to sell, right? So we're going to have a lot of things, but we just need to make sure that we have enough money that we can actually start that sugar process. Now, I think what I'm leaning towards doing is sugar cane, I think, is what I'm leaning towards doing. I'm not 100% positive on that. And when I say leaning towards doing, what I really mean is what I'm leaning towards doing at the beginning. Obviously, we're going to be doing sugar beets and sugar cane together at some point, just like we're doing canola oil and sunflower oil here on this farm, right? But, you know, I think the beginning, you've got to make a decision on which specific one you want to do. I'm leaning towards sugar cane. The reason why I'm leaning towards sugarcane, and I probably don't have enough time to look at this, but I'm just going to show it to you anyway. There is a harvester that I've wanted to use, and it might not be the greatest, I don't know, but there's the big one, of course, and then there's this one, which I kind of want to use this one, right? It's just kind of a pull behind on a tractor, which means that's going to save us a lot of money. Is it going to be difficult to do? I fully expect it to be difficult to do. I fully expect to get annoyed with it. We need a weight on the front of this badly. But, you know, it's still something I kind of want to try out, right? I do. I want to try it out. So I think that's where I'm going right now. But you never know. In a couple months down the road, my mind might change, right? It very well could and it might change. So we'll see, right? We'll see. What else could we buy? This one, we could buy that one. $357,000 is not a terrible amount of money. It would allow us also to put that bit of the track through to these fields and these fields. Although now that it's over here, it's probably not as big of a deal as it was when we were down here, right? Certainly have some of these small fields. We easily can buy those small fields. Those are easy to buy. But I guess we'll find out. I really need to get a weight on this. We are all over the road here. Now, hopefully you had a very nice 4th of July, in case this is just a series that the only one that you watch. At the time of this recording, I'm recording this actually right before my wife and I are getting ready to go meet some friends at a local restaurant. It's a restaurant and bar. It's like a sports bar. They've got a big... It's really nice, actually. So, bear with me for a minute. I'm going to go on a rant here for a second. But during COVID time, they used to have... In the back of it, there was like 4 parking spots, maybe 5 parking spots. Very small amount of room. Not where are we going here? I literally hit the thing, and it acted like it was on the marker, but it's all over the place. All right, let's just try to realign this again here. Anyway, during COVID, when everything was shut down, right? The whole world was pretty much shut down. They had, in the back of this little sports bar I'm talking about, it's in like a downtown area of like a small downtown, right? You know, just a local downtown that we're in. It's not a gigantic, it's not like a big city. It's not like, you know, I'm going to use these cities because I'm, you know, the ones I'm nearby. It's not like it's Cincinnati or like Indianapolis or Columbus or, you know, Cleveland or anything like that. It's not anywhere near those sites, like tiny, just a, you know, a normal town. But anyway, they have a small, little, tiny local sports bar there. And behind that sports bar, there were always like 4 or 5 parking spots. Not a whole lot. But since it's in downtown, they really didn't need that many parking spots, right? You can just park in any of the public parking spaces that are in downtown. On the road if you want to, or wherever, right? But anyway, they had that, and during COVID, they decided to get rid of that. And what they did was they made this big, massive patio. And on this big, massive patio, there's a wall where they put up this big, massive, like, Jumbotron type of TV. Now, it's not like sports arena jumbo size, but it's a large TV. It's probably 150 inches, right? It's a large TV. Maybe it's 125 inches. I don't know. It's a large Jumbotron type of TV, though. It's not just a TV. It's like a Jumbotron TV. So it's really nice. So we're going to head there tonight and watch the USA soccer game. I've mentioned it before. I'll mention it again. I'm not a gigantic soccer fan, but I do love watching the World Cup, as long as most people, I think, do. You know, I'm always like to root for the home country, man. I like to root for USA. So we dominated in hockey in the Olympics, right? Clean sweep, Paralympic, the women's and the men's all dominated. It was awesome. You would love to see the same thing happen here in the USA. The USA are obviously not favored to win. There are a lot of other big teams that are in play there, but it would be cool to see that. Now, one thing I can say is that recently I did watch the Argentina match versus Cabo Verde. That was amazing. Cabo Verde almost pulled that off. They almost pulled off the upset of the century, man. That would have been insane. They literally took Argentina to overtime, which is crazy. Argentina is the #1 team in the world, and this is the lowest of the low. They were the lowest ranked team in the World Cup. They've never made it to the World Cup. It was awesome. I would have loved to see them pull off that upset like that. Now, do I expect them to go all the way? Would I have expected them to go all the way and win? No. Unfortunately, I wouldn't have. They would have got tired eventually. They wore themselves out, but it was still an unbelievable feat, even what they did, taking Argentina, the #1 team in the world, to overtime. I mean, it was crazy. But definitely put them on the map. So hopefully they will make it next year. Well, I say next year. Next World Cup. Hopefully they will make it. Because I'm always going to find myself rooting for them. Because it was awesome to watch that. Again, I don't watch soccer. I really don't. I don't really. Sorry if you like soccer. I apologize. I'm not trying to offend you. I don't really like soccer. I don't like... Let me reword this. I don't like the flopping in soccer. I absolutely despise it. I know it's part of the game. I know everyone says you got to do it because it's part of the game. Well, I understand that, but just put in a flagrant, flopping penalty. Every other sport has one, so do it, and then you can stop all this flopping. But I hate it. I hate it. These people, they're not even getting hit. They're not even like getting touched, and they're acting like they're dead out there. Get them a stretcher. They're dying. I don't know. That right there just turns me off the sport a little bit. But so I'm sorry if you really like soccer. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to offend you or anything like that. I'm just, I don't know. I just can't. I can't get past that. That just, it drives me crazy. I've mentioned it before, but in case you're new and stumbled across it, I've played hockey my whole life, right? So it's just a different sport. Now, is there kind of like a diving every once in a while in hockey? Yes, but they call it, right? They call it. There's a penalty for that. There should be that in soccer, and there's not. So anyway. Like I said, I was going on a rant for a minute, so just bear with me for a minute while we got through that. But, so yeah. I'm excited to go see it, though. I've never watched a soccer game here. Normally, when I go and watch it at this little sports bar is hockey, of course. Baseball sometimes, and then occasionally football, of course, too. But, football, it's... a little colder, right? A little colder when football is going on there. Now, you could say the same thing about hockey, and you would be right. But the playoffs in hockey, a lot of the times, it's warm, right? The playoffs go until May, sometimes even early June, right? So it's a lot warmer out there during the playoff periods of time. Where football, early football, yeah, you could definitely go watch some out there. But once it gets a little bit later on, it's a little cold, right? So they don't really have it open outside anyway, right? So, but anyway. All right, now that I've offended everyone with my not liking soccer, let's move on here. I'm going to get a worker set on doing this field over here, and the reason why I'm going to do that is because we need to get some fertilizer and start spreading fertilizer on these fields. Among numerous other things we have to do today, of course. Now, could we expand this field a little bit? Yeah, we could, but we still have, that small operation down there that is still working through some sunflowers, so I'm just going to wait. We'll do it next season. Doesn't need to be today. We can do it next season. All right, so let's get to our New Holland here. We'll hook up the solid fertilizer, and we'll get underway. Very, very happy, by the way, with the header rack there. It is a little awkward the way it works, but with our little forklift, when we bring it over here, I'm not sure if it'll be able to pick them up or not. I hope it will. If it doesn't, eventually we'll make an upgrade where we'll get some kind of a wheel loader or something where it easily can pick up, a header like that, right? We did something like that similar a long, long time ago when I first started my farming channel, specifically to farming, in FS22, right? Way back when in the 200 horsepower challenge, many, 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 many years ago now at this point. We used that kind of approach, right? We had kind of a wheel loader approach to take some of the headers that were really high up in the air off and get them attached, right? So we can do that same thing here. $795,000 is a lot of money, man. Nope, get off the worker. Nope, get off the worker. Steering assist. All right. Anything pop up in the used market? Anything else? Oh, baby. That was already out there, though, I think, last time, wasn't it? It's an articulate tractor, though. I really... I think a lot of people have these issues, but some people are better at them than I am. But the articulate tractors, they're not my favorite. They're not my friend. I struggle with those things. I struggle with them. So as nice as it would be to have that, I'm not quite sure that makes the most sense. All right, we just have to do a little bit of touch-up work here on the right side, and then this field is all fertilized up, and we can go do the long field down there as well. So, I don't know. We'll think about that tractor some more. I mean, the only way I'm going to get better at utilizing those articulate tractors is to actually use them, right? So, I don't know. Maybe I should get it. It's such a beast of a machine. I mean, maybe I should get it. Yeah, I'll think about it. I'll think about it some more. So, we've got to get that field, put some fertilizer down on that field. We probably have to do the field up north here after the quick autosave, which is always at the worst time. I think 58. I think we have to do that one too, I think. Hold on a second. I should have had this on for you. Apologize. Nope, there we go. And pH value, nitrogen value. Did we not have... We did have auto on. That didn't really do a whole lot there. It's not as good of nitrogen as I was expecting to get. Nitrogen is just okay. It's automatic application rate, so it should have been... I don't know. It should have been putting down the right amount, but maybe the sunflowers just don't require that much. I guess that's the thing. I keep forgetting about that. That some crops don't need as many as the others, right? So could just be that. Well, you know what we've got to do anyway. So let's get to work here. We're gonna get this field done and then get that other field up there done. I think those are the only two that we have to do as far as putting fertilizer down. Ooh, actually 78's not a good spot either, is it? But 78 doesn't have anything on it yet. Right? We didn't put anything in 78. No, we didn't put anything in 78. Okay, we're good. We're good then. All right, let's get the rest of this field done. It won't take us long because we're almost to the end here. We got to get that little tiny spot there. We'll drop it down a little bit, and then hopefully the worker will be getting close to being done with that field, and then we can put some fertilizer on that field as well. Okay, real quick, I wanted to just talk about a few things. I added some trees down here at the very, very end of the extra extension here to the yard and production area over here. I'm going to probably add a few more just small trees kind of going against the edge here, just because it does look a little out of place, but we're going to continue to work on that as we move along. You know, something similar to what you're seeing here, right, where they're just kind of scattered across. I just put a big cluster of them down here on the corner right here, just because I thought it looked kind of cool, but we're going to kind of carry that along up to about here, and then the same thing this way. Up to, well, really that tree, right? So we're going to kind of continue that, and then maybe we'll add a few over here as well by the side of this, and then over here too, right? Maybe a few fences as well. We'll see as we move along, but yeah, we're just going to kind of carry that along as we move through the series here, slowly and surely. Not anything. I'm obviously not going to spend a bunch of time on it right now, but you know, as we move along, we'll continue to add little, you know, bits of scenery and theming, I guess, to the yard. Anyway, okay, so all of those are done. Actually, I didn't do 58. Whoops, I forgot to do 58. Let's go do 58 really quick. Once that's done, I want to kind of look and see about buying at least one field, maybe two if we go from a small perspective. Well, smaller perspective, maybe even three, but if we go from a normal size, I say normal size, that really doesn't explain a whole lot either, does it? Okay, this field to the right here is gigantic, right? If we buy that, we're only buying that one field, which we're not buying that field because it's pretty much the amount of money we have. But if we were to buy a field like that, obviously it would just be one, where if it's, you know, a normal-sized field, maybe we buy two. If it's a small field like this, maybe three. I don't know. Who knows? All right, this is probably going to say... Oh, actually it doesn't. I was going to say, this is probably going to say that it's just going to be in one pass, but it doesn't. Surprisingly. We almost finished the other field there before the rain got here, but we literally just slightly missed it, so that's all right. The rain has just now really begun, so it's not too bad. We're not putting too much tire marks in the ground there. Well, I mean, we definitely are, but it's not as bad as it could be, I guess is how I should put it. So I think what I'm going to do, and I might have did this in the last episode, I don't remember actually at this point, maybe I should have went back and watched it, but I'm going to put the decision to you. Should I buy that John Deere or not? You let me know down below. It should still be out there by the time the next episode comes around, because I don't think I'm going to be skipping to April. Well, as a matter of fact, it's not even I don't think. I know I'm not going to be skipping to April here. So you let me know what you think. You let me know what you think. I'm going to go ahead and buy a weight. Now, a lot of people say just use something else as the counterweight, and you're right, I could do that. But, I mean, we've got plenty of money now, so I'm not too concerned about that. So I'm going to go ahead and buy the weight. It's not going to be outrageously expensive. As long as it's enough to offset, then I think we're going to be good, right? So which one do we want to use here? Now, we've got the New Holland and we've got the John Deere. I think just maybe a black one probably makes the most sense. We can just kind of, you know, alternate it a bit with each of them, right? I don't think I need 2.5 tons. I really don't. I really think 1.5 tons is probably plenty. I'm going to go with like a dark black here. So we'll pick that up. And then we're going to look at some different plots of land to potentially buy here. Now, what fields should we buy? That's a great question. I think 76 looks like it might already be a sunflower field, or maybe that's corn, but we'll look at that. If it is, I mean, that just seems like a prime one to buy, because it's already kind of started the process for us, right? I like that the actual cement changes color, too. Like, that's great with the rain, as it would, right? Cement would become a darker color when it rains versus the light color when it's dry. All right, so let's look here. Let's see. 80 is 87. Ooh, 87 might 87 and 76. Ooh, 87 is sunflowers. Ooh, but that is literally all the money we have. That's every single dime of money that we have. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. But 76 is, and 76 is reasonable. It's 117,000. It's not cheap, but it's reasonable. So let's go ahead and buy it. So we got another sunflower field out of it, which is great. We're down to 675 now. So now the decision becomes, do we buy any other fields, right? Actually, this one was less than I thought it was. It's only 555. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's look at this one. Let's look at this one. So, how flat... I know it's probably not going to be the best representation here. I think I remember this field. We had this field, I think, in FS22 when we were playing this map. It's deceivingly not as flat as you think. There are flat parts of it, but it's not as flat as you think. This area here, this plot of land on the side here. You could absolutely turn it into another field, and that's honestly what we did, if I remember correctly, in FS22. But would it be good for our oil operation? Our crude oil operation, I should say. Probably not. Probably not. I mean, you can just look at it from this angle. You can see the hill change of elevation here is pretty... For this map, it's pretty severe, right? So, no. So I'm thinking no. This looks like the most prime opportunities and spot for us to do an oil mill, honestly, is right here. This looks relatively flat most of the way. There's certainly some elevation changes, but it's not as severe as the other one, I don't think, personally. There is some down there in that corner, I guess, but... This one... That one comes with this, doesn't it? Yeah, it's that big. It's the big, massive one. I'm not quite sure that's the way to go. 97... This one we were thinking about making our yard area over here too, but this has some pretty big changes of elevation, at least from one point to the other point. And that's what I'm really looking for, right? It's not necessarily that the elevation changes. That's fine. As long as, you know, from one corner to the other corner, it's not extreme, we can still work with that. But that one is pretty extreme. It's much lower on one corner versus the other. The elevation change might be gradual, but... Overall, it would take us a lot of money to smooth this out and make it flat, you know, like we did here, right? This took a lot of money, too, and you can see the elevation change here, because we kind of took from back here and expanded it over here. It's pretty severe, but, you know, this is a much smaller area than what this really would be and what the crude oil operation would be, right? So, that really looks like it's about it from perspective of, you know, where we could put crude oil. The other thing I was thinking about is these two fields here, right? I think these two fields are more primed for us to take and turn this into our crude oil operation right here in the middle of town. These houses are going to hate it, but I almost think these two are almost primed for it. It's not far away from our current yard, which is great. Yeah. I'm kind of thinking that's where we're going to go. But I would love to have your input on that, and let me know what your thoughts are on that. Because we're going to leave the episode at this point. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you smash the like, subscribe button. Thanks to my members for all their continued support. There's a link down below if you want early access to videos like this one. Also, check out my second channel. Check out the Discord. Everything, as always, it's down below. Once again, happy 4th of July to you. Thanks so much for watching. Go USA, and I'll see you next time.